That's why I need to get off. When I was watching, we put something up in. I mean, I had it, and I really, I never even got tired. Molly, for one. Yes, she's not doing it. So that's why I like it. I can take some kids, so, yeah, but. But I know it's thinking, and you know, it's all to me, it's just well, so that's
Oh, really? Yeah, he don't have them for it. He said that Gorilla Glue probably won't work. He said that Gorilla Glue probably won't work. He said he's gonna make Gorilla Glue. It's not Gorilla Glue. He's gonna handle it. What'd you say? He had to fix it. Oh, well. He might just I find out you was there. I'm dragging stuff out of my store trying to
How's it going?
I don't know. I need some up there. I don't think they'll have it.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I brought some out there.
He's supposed to have the source. Go see if I got to come up with the source.
He has a watch.
Are they real?
Y'all hadn't heard from Bobby, what's Bobby said?
I ain't told them all that. I know we couldn't do it. The guy down on the
I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight to our Wednesday night service, first time in a while.
pick it up.
Alright, get on a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and proceed on, John. But anyway, good to see everybody. It's been a somewhat difficult week. We lost some good friends and church members here this week. Remember all those in prayer, the Green Hall family, tonight, and as well as others like me. Good friend of mine, Leon Harmon, passed away this past week. Remember him? We were in the guards together about 25 years ago. Certainly a good fellow. What's our first song, huh? 678. 678. Okay, order of worship, open prayer is $600. Closing prayer is Michael Kenny. See if that'll come in just quickly. We'll make mention of our first Sunday fellowship meal November the 7th, as well as the area-wide youth devo is same time. Also, the ladies, October the 18th is we meet at Toro. And our birthday anniversary list, cover them, we got quite a few in October. First of October is Miss Helen Carroll. Helen's not here. Anybody know about Miss Helen? They heard. Lynn Stacy Ross, anniversary the 6th. Brad Clay Young, the 9th. Chad Simmons, the 10th. Jetty Hancock and Marcel Young is today. Lisa Young, the 20th. Katie Dodds, 26th. Henry Finger, 27th. Gloria Greenhall is the 29th, as well as Mother, 29th. Real Paul, 30th. On our prayer list, you remember Gloria, Greenhall, Dean Young, Mississippi Care, Emma Matahar, Jesse Matahar, Keith Smith, Keith, him off. I thought. Marcel Young, Mississippi Care, Bill Gurley, Jason Driscoll, Bill Lane, Sonny and Rita Artwood, Bill Tyson, Nina Holland, Katie Brooks Stahl, Michaela Harrison, C.J. Rickman. I think C.J. is doing pretty good as well. Roger Williamson, Daphne Bain, Mary Children, Shirley Owens, Shirley. She's Daphne good. She's good enough. Dottie Smith, Dottie, how are you?
I'm feeling good right now. I have another case in November.
Okay, good deal. Feel doing good.
You can take that Reba Arwood off. That's Sheila Pennett's mama who passed away.
Okay.
Her father's son.
And of course, Margie Young, mother, is in Mississippi Care, and she's doing better because she's certainly ready to come home. Called me twice today. I don't know where I was at to pick her up. Mother, maybe we can do this pretty soon. I'm sitting to do it now. I'm not going to stay another night here. So it makes it pretty tough, but I appreciate the calls and things about Mother. She certainly do. She is doing better. The leg seems to be doing some better. All right, that's all announcements. Anybody got anything to make mention of? Not, Brother Ronnie.
$678, first, second, after this song, we'll have our open prayer and order. 678. More about Jesus would I know, more of His grace to others show, more of His faithfulness see, more of His love to die for me. More about Jesus, more about Jesus, more of His faithfulness see, more of His love to die for me. More about Jesus, let me learn. More of His holy will discern. Spirit of God, my teacher be, showing the things of Christ to me. More about Jesus. More about Jesus. More of His faithfulness see, more of His love to die for me. More about Jesus on His throne, riches and glory all His own. More of His kingdom sure and great, more of His coming Prince of Peace. More about Jesus. More about Jesus, more of His saving fullness see, more of His love to die for me.
Our Father's heaven, we're so thankful for this. That's the way our help not easy to have to come here and all together together something. Pray for the leaders, pray on Jesus, pray for the church worldwide, pray for the CC, pray for our healing, pray for all those who may be sick, pray for those who want to love one, come to Him. Pray for those who begin to give us give us with us.
Mark 674. 674. Yes, sir. Randy ran away. Randy ran away. Hey. Wearing them glasses and play food.
No need.
Oh, is that what it is you let him win?
Get a kick out of it.
Oh man, that was good.
He banked it that win.
Oh, right. He's a good legend, huh? Nice. Good deal. All right. How's everybody doing this evening? You okay? Good deal. All right. Yeah, it's been a couple months since we have been together on Wednesday night. I have, and feel free to correct me if I am wrong, I've got that we're on page 56 of the Green Book. Page 56. Does that sound about right?
I got this,
We got number 10 on 57. Okay. All right. Well, then I just apparently didn't mark down that we were past that. Okay. Good deal. All right. So, we've been talking about the role of the local church, the mission of the local church, and it's been a while. And really, the overall topic that we've been talking about, and we're going to play a little bit of catch up because it's been a while since we've been together. But one of the things that we find that we're facing in the world today is that the church it's almost at a crisis point. And I see it because I work with younger people, and when I say that we're at a crisis point, it's obviously not a new idea, right? Here, what we're seeing here, this chapter 8, is specifically talking about training preachers, and we've said time and time again that the crisis here is that the church is not putting out enough preachers, right? But what does that mean, really? It's talking more specifically about the idea of a pulpit minister. But does it seem like the church is losing ground, perhaps? Even in regards to society, maybe? Do we feel like we're losing ground a little bit?
Look at our man. Last few years, they've got a number.
Yeah. Do you say here? Do you mean when you say here? Do you mean?
Or congregation.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I'm sure, and I heard of it quite a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I think you're right. I think really what we're seeing is because of advances in technology. And I don't want to blame all of the world's evils on technology, but I think with the advances in social media and the ability of people that people have to communicate, and to sit behind a screen and take no accountability for things that are said or done online, what's the result of that? I think we're starting to see a very strong degrading of, just obviously Christian morals. And I think that's really kind of playing with, playing is not the right word, it's really kind of, it's working against the work that we're trying to do here. The overall idea is that we're trying to teach, and we're trying to teach these young people exactly how it is that we are supposed to behave in a public setting and how we're supposed to treat other people. But on the other hand, what you have because of social media, what are we seeing? There was something that was going around on social media a month ago, maybe, and I don't know if any of you heard about it or not. Tommy may have heard of it because he's got a daughter in high school. You may have heard of it. It's called the Devious Lick. Did you hear about that? No. Okay. The Devious. Well, that's basically. Well, that's not too far from it. Basically, the idea is that the Devious Lick was an idea to go into the school and to steal something from the school and make a social media post about it. Yeah, it was really popular on TikTok for a little while, but if something is popular on TikTok, it's going to show up on Snapchat or Instagram. Those things really won't make Facebook too much because too many people with gray hair are on Facebook. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, there's a little bit of that going on. Anyway, so that was kind of the thing, and you saw that was really popular. I didn't witness anything personally. I did see some damage, some videos, and some pictures of damage that was done. Yeah, absolutely. One of the things was somebody ripped a toilet up from the ground in an upstairs bathroom at South Hill High School. Why? To get hits on social media. To get attention. Absolutely. And that's kind of the thing that we're facing as even in the church. We're not necessarily facing that directly.
Oh, that little dog there.
That's probably what it was, yeah. And well, now, I mean, there was that, but even now, if there's a fight in school, when I was a kid, if there was a fight going on, you might be lucky to be there and witness it if that was your kind of thing. But now, if there's a fight in school, within 5 minutes, everybody in the school knows about it because there's a video. Because there's a video of it. Yeah, and they look ridiculous. But, it is what it is. It's I don't understand. But those things are really kind of popularized. And here we are, and we're working locally to try to deal with issues that are so much deeper than trying to uproot a toilet that belongs to somebody else. This is just kind of one of the things that we're facing, and that really adds to this crisis that we have. And here back on 53, it talks about that crisis, where the crisis is that men are not really, or young men are not really involved in and pursuing the position of a gospel preacher. Okay? And it's talking about here, how is it that we should to really work to position, when we talk about the gospel preacher, here it's talking more about that person that stands at the pulpit and speaks. But who can be a gospel preacher? Every single person. All of us, every person who has access to the Word. Okay? How many of us have access to the Word? Every 24 hours. You've got it. I've got it in my pocket all the time. All the time. And if I don't like one version, I can find another one. Like that. Just a click.
Before you could even open your Bible, you have an answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We have the wealth of all human knowledge at our fingertips. And what do? We tear up toilets.
Get on TikTok.
We get on TikTok. I don't know. No, it is an enormous waste of time. Well, Facebook can be an interesting tool, right? Because there's a lot of information, and you can get on Facebook Marketplace and you can look for motorcycles, right? Okay, if that's your thing.
That's where they got
Do what?
What they John Vine delivered.
Yeah, you still see John Vine still had ball. Anyway, this is a story for another day. Talk about that later. Maybe one of these days. We'll see what happens. It's about to be motorcycle buying weather, isn't it? Anyway, so the idea is that we as a society, we should really be pushing people toward this idea that there is such a great reward for those who would choose the profession of becoming a gospel preacher. We are at a crisis point. Information is so much faster than it used to be. Okay, used to be it's like Ronnie said. It used to be a double dog dare, and now it's a Facebook trend or it's a TikTok trend, and so information, it moves so much faster. Okay, when let's say when you were in school and somebody double dog dared you to do something, okay, how many people would see it? Very few. But now people are looking for just a huge number of clicks or likes or whatever it might be, and there's a certain level of satisfaction that comes along with every single one of those things. We're now in a society, and I don't know that it's any different now. I just think it's a lot faster than it used to be. But I think that now we're dealing with a much greater amount of narcissism than we've seen in the past. Okay, 10, 15 years ago, the big word was selfie, right? Okay, selfie. What's a selfie? It's when you take a picture of yourself. Okay, now what would happen is, and this is also not a new trend, but what would happen is you would see people who would take a picture of themselves, post it, and if they didn't get a certain number of likes, they would delete it and do another one until they get that certain number of likes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's no doubt. There's so many filters that they add to it, right? Yeah, absolutely. But the whole idea though is that they're looking for something, right? They're looking for that thing, and to be honest, it's almost like it's. I read an article that it's been a long time ago, but there was a study that was done between the number of selfies that a person would take, and it's linked to narcissism and mental health disorders, and it's a legitimate thing. And basically, what they're saying is that they every time they get a certain number of likes, they have like a dopamine injection in their brain, right? It's like all of those triggers that it's almost like a drug. Where they get this certain level of a high because of it, okay? And that's the kind of thing that we're having to deal with now. And we, in the congregational sense, we don't see that, right? That's not something that we see per se. Oh, there's no doubt. That's something but that's the thing that we're facing. And that's the ground level of this crisis here that this is talking about. Again, this was written 50 years ago. Okay? The world is much different than it was 50 years ago. A lot of the dangers are similar, but the world is a lot different. It's a lot faster than it used to be. We talk about the wealth of all human knowledge at our fingertips, and we talk about how fast information travels. And 50 years ago, deception is deception, right? You're absolutely right. And who's being deceived? Our young people are being deceived, right? Some older people are being deceived as well. Yeah. And you know, that's we're behind. You know, we're behind this information so fast we can't catch up, right? So, I mean, I get it. I understand. So, you know, when we look at all of these training programs, which is more important? And we can step back and we can understand, we know what the answer to this is. Which is more important? Standing up and preaching the Word of God for 30 minutes or getting 100 likes on a selfie? We know which one is more important. But to a teenager who's sitting in the crowd, they may not understand that. And that's really the thing that we've got to make sure that we are communicating, is that it's okay to take a picture of yourself every now and again. Okay? Whatever. The vast majority, my rule with selfies is generally guys should never take a selfie. Okay? And I communicate that often to my teenage boys who are in my class. Guys, don't take selfies. Okay? If your girlfriend and your mama wants a picture of you, okay, at that point it's different, but that doesn't mean you have to post it online. Okay? But the whole idea, though, is that, you know, we understand that we've got a job to do. They don't get that yet. And that's one thing that we need to make sure that we are communicating well with them so that they can understand that they have a job to do. We understand that the salvation of someone is hanging in the balance. The selfie can wait. It doesn't matter that much. And so then we have, on page 54, we have the charge. And what is the charge then? If the crisis is that we don't have enough people going into ministry, enough people understanding what our job is, then the charge is that we need, as a congregation, we need to make sure that we're fixing that. That we are addressing that issue of training young people, of expressing the importance of the gospel and the spreading of the gospel and teaching other people about the gospel, as opposed to those issues that we might face at school. I had a little bit of I had to have a discussion with Chloe earlier today. Chloe is really good at singing, and she's really good at acting, and those are things that she just loves to do. But some of the other girls at school, they can do handstands. She can't do a handstand. And they can do cartwheels. She can't do a good cartwheel, Bob. I can't either. No, but you're also not a teen girl, okay? But she can't do that, and so today they were in the gym. There were some mats on the ground that usually our cheerleaders use, and so she decided she's hanging out with this girl who has been doing cheerleading for about 4 years now. The girl's a little bit older than Chloe, not much. But I think this girl's in 6th grade, Chloe's in 5th grade, so she's a little bit older than Chloe. But this little girl has absolutely no problem doing cartwheels or flips, or she can do the handstand. Chloe just made her mad because she couldn't get it. So I had to explain to her that education, some people's education is different. Just because she can't do it now doesn't mean that she can't do it later, but the idea is that if she wants to do that, then she's got to learn how to do that. That little girl that's doing the cartwheels, I don't know if she gets to stand up on a stage and act or something. Huh? Probably not. But the whole reason that I bring that up is that, okay, I had to have this discussion with Chloe. These are also similar discussions that we're going to have with our young people. Because as of right now, we're losing ground. Because the idea is that we're supposed to make sure that our young people are grounded in the truth, and instead they're grounded in TikTok.
myself. We've all got different talents.
Mm-hmm.
As you mentioned, Chloe was saying, that
Mm-hmm.
this was really good.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the difference in personality.
Yeah.
You know, this book was written when some odd years ago.
Yeah.
In other words, he's concentrating here on trying to keep young men to be preachers.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of young men, by no means will have the capability of standing accused.
Right.
You know, but that don't mean that they don't have to be able to work with someone one-on-one and other things.
Right.
So we need, you know, I agree with you. We need to teach them to use the talent that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them may not have the talent to stand up and
Right.
preach, but they can do other things, and we need to. I'm thinking that if we're in town,
Mm-hmm.
we need to encourage them, do what you have the ability to do.
Yeah.
Don't say if you can't preach, then, you know, push it. And then I go back to our young women. They need to be encouraged as well.
Absolutely.
They're setting example. And those young ladies, they rule the household. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
They have more input. You know, I heard the story one time, you know, a man has a son,
Mm-hmm.
feeding gunpowder and all this to make him tough. You know, make him a big, robust, tough guy. Let a big old bumblebee pop between the eyes. He bashed your daddy like a whirlwind in mom.
Yeah.
You know, mom had more influence, you know.
Yeah.
We got to influence our young ladies too. They do have so much.
Yeah. There's no doubt.
But we all got different personalities. It's like all of us in here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got ability to do different things. Not all of us can do the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I think that another thing that we need to make sure that we're doing too, and this is for everybody. We need to make sure that we are expanding our comfort zones too. Because a lot of times what we'll do is, and I'm guilty of this too, is you know, I'll find my spot. I'll find the area in which I'm comfortable. And I don't stray out of that too much. Okay? I you know, I have my certain routine that I go through in a day, and if something upsets that routine, okay, my day is a little wonky. I might need an extra cup of coffee or something just to make it through, okay? But the whole point though is that what, you know, before I started working with Fraley's, I not led singing. Maybe once in my lifetime, and it was disastrous, and I didn't do it again. Okay? Because that's just not in my wheelhouse. That's not in my comfort zone. So, you know, when we talk about the importance of example, then we also need to make sure that we're setting that example. A devotional, okay? I had when I started really kind of doing devotionals, we were at Washer Tree at the time, and they would have us do a devotional pretty regularly. I probably did one once every couple of months, and they said when I was to get up and do a devotional, no more than 5 minutes. No more than 5 minutes. They didn't want you to get up and to do more than 5 minutes because it was on a Wednesday night, and you know, by the time class is over with, everybody gets back in the auditorium, and they want that 5-minute devotional. At that point in time, guess what everybody's attention span is? About 2.5 minutes. Okay? What? Huh? It can be. Yeah. But the whole point is it doesn't take very much effort to do a 5-minute devotional. And when you say no more than 5 minutes, that's literally, it's no more than 5 minutes. I mean, you can stand up and you can ramble on about one particular topic. Speaking of which, Bob, you're supposed to have a devotional on that. Okay? Okay. All right. I mean, I can do it if you need to. I can stand up here and ramble for a couple minutes. Like, that's good. So anyway, the whole point though is that we need to be working even as adults. We need to be working to expand what we're comfortable doing. I'm still not super comfortable leading a song, but I will. And again, it's not asking for somebody who's never taught a Bible class to stand up and preach a sermon. It's not what we're asking for, but it is asking for participation in areas in which you may not have been super comfortable doing before.
We were talking about our youth.
Yeah.
I feel like that. And get the road.
Mm-hmm.
Go to a youth league.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I care about youth league. Some will look at
Mm-hmm.
young people.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but it's not good.
Yeah.
But anybody in here, come go. Get a chance, go.
If you want to
listen.
Yeah.
The power of music. Person.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. And you don't know it, and you don't go because we don't have much here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of youth now on Canada. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right now.
Yeah.
And it's, and we'll have to call from our friends now.
Mm-hmm.
But then another thing, we're glad to be here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you want to feel, if you want to walk away from an event feeling energized about the church, then go to a youth devotional. Spend some time at a youth event. Go to Ask the Leaders. You don't even have to go the whole time. Just go for a day and watch one of the events. Just sit in there and watch, and you will be encouraged. And really kind of that goes back to one of the things that this whole lesson is about, is recognizing what our charge is and recognizing the cure that we're supposed to be putting into the work here. One of the things that I think is really commendable is the amount of work that's going into our youth group here. We've got Eugene and Judy. They've been doing quite a bit with them as well, right? We've got the Souths that have been really active in helping the youth. So, those are the things that we really need to be doing as a congregation, being involved and making sure that these kids know that there's going to be a point in time where they're going to realize that TikTok like that they're looking for, that's going to stop. That's going to go away. They're not going to make a living off of TikTok. Those TikTok friends that they have, how long are they going to be there? What about the people here? What about those people who spend time with them, engaging in conversation, asking them how their day's going, being really invested in how their school is going? Because guys, guess what? School is difficult. Okay? The things that these kids are studying now at the high school level, it's incredible. 4 or 5 years ago, I remember I was teaching 5th grade English at Itawamba. And I got to watch them as they were taking their math test. And I was watching the 5th grade math test, okay? The state test in May. And I was kind of, in my head, I was working some of the problems. And I thought, I could teach 5th grade math. Okay? That wouldn't be too difficult. I feel like I could do pretty well on this test. And I had the opportunity to go to the 6th grade with them, with the same kids, and I watched their 6th grade math test. And I was like, no, done. That's stuff that they're learning in 6th grade now. No, there's not a chance. That's stuff that I was doing in high school. Okay? They're doing, I don't even know coding in high school. Do you know what coding is? Coding is when they're writing a computer program. They're doing that stuff in middle school. Okay, the stuff that we're dealing with, the TikToks, okay, they're writing that stuff in school. Okay, the stuff that these kids are learning, we need to be invested in. We need to see how they're doing. Okay, there's a huge focus right now on mental health. It's a huge focus. It's something that wasn't really talked about when I was a kid. But guess what? It's a real thing. And something that these kids are really focused on. And if we want to be able to have a conversation with them, we need to understand what that means. Okay? What is mental health? Okay? How are they feeling? And mental health is basically just how they're feeling. Are you doing okay? We need to make sure that we're tuned in to what they're talking about. And we are that example, and that we're there for them when they need us to be. Really, that's going to be, we talk about the cure, and we talk about what our job is as a local congregation. That's going to be the best thing that we can do when we're trying to reach out to these young people.
They're not allowed to say crazy people.
Crazy, I think, is okay. Yeah, so far.
Crazy.
She said, yeah, you're probably not allowed to say crazy. Crazy is okay because it's almost too in a really broad term. But there's so many different levels to crazy now. Crazy could just be that somebody's acting silly, okay? Or it could be that there's some kind of a mental issue going on. So it's almost a little too broad.
Come from, we were studying,
yeah, well, I think that's a big part of it. Yeah, absolutely. You have people who went into the military. What Phil was saying was that the reason that there's such a huge focus on it now is because of people who came back from war with PTSD. And
but it's a good thing, because what's sad there, World War II,
absolutely not. Yeah, and that's. I think it is something that's important to identify, and something important to discuss. And I think that one of the things that we often use to dismiss one of the popular terms right now to dismiss the idea that mental health is a thing is, and I know that some of you guys may have heard of it, like we call people snowflakes. Because any sign of trouble, they melt, right? Snowflake. Heard that before?
Way behind.
You're way behind? Okay, well this has been a few years ago. Basically, the idea of what is if somebody gets upset about something or they get offended about something, which there's a whole lot of people being offended right now, is about everything, is that if they're super offended about any one thing, that means that they're a snowflake. Okay? Because they melt down at the sign of any kind of trouble. Okay? So you've got both sides of it. That's something that we also have to, I guess, be careful with, because it is a big deal. Excuse me. One of the things that we're really talking about here is we are talking about making sure that we are prepared. And a big part of that is going to be training classes. We'll get into number 10 next week. We have to do a lot of catch up today. So let me go ahead and mark down that next week we will pick up here.
So there's a lot of pressure on them, but
Yeah,
they're involved in so much.
there's no
They're
doubt.
so involved in food that they get church go.
Absolutely, and a lot of that too falls on the parents.
It falls on the parents, and also with the TikTok stuff. They are not honored.
They're not.
They're fighting to the front.
Absolutely, there's no doubt about that. One of the, like when we talk about just how they're the ones that need to do this. Yeah. Oh, you're right. I had one of my archers. She's on the archery team. She was running cross country in the fall, and then she was doing soccer, and then she was doing cheer, and then also she was shooting archery. So yeah, absolutely, and we're losing focus. This, okay, it's great to be popular, but that needs to be less of a focus as here, this place here, what we're trying to do. Bob, hi, how you doing? Well, I didn't realize that, but thanks for pointing that out. I didn't do that, but just grab some shoes. Yeah, great. The same spirit. But then not necessarily realize my shoes matches the shirt. Thank you, I appreciate that. I try sometimes. You because you stand up there and you grab it all the time. You deserve it. So
Everyone would get some book and turn to page 674. That'll be a invitation song here in just a few minutes. Again, it's good to see everyone. Is it not wonderful to be able to be back worship on Wednesday evening again? It seems like this year we have been messed up so many times. We get started enough times, but it's great to be able to be back and be able to worship again. Let's all continue to pray that the numbers continue to go down. They're dropping tremendously at the moment. Let's pray that they continue to do that and make any changes again. If give me just a moment, I want to tell you a little story that I read, and I think it has a tremendous meaning. John, I may have told you this. To get over it, it'll get any better. But anyway, this lady left the worship service, and as she was leaving, she told the preacher, she said, I just want to tell you, I will not be back. And he said, may I ask why? She said, well, as I was sitting there, I noticed that people were looking at their phone, looking at other things, and were not paying any attention to the lesson whatsoever. He said, well, can I ask you to do one thing for me before you leave? She said, okay. He said, would you take this glass of water and you walk around the auditorium twice with it and try not to spill any of it? Well, what's the reason? He said, well, just do it for me. Make this the last thing you do. Walk around the auditorium twice and try not to spill any of it. You walk around the auditorium twice, she come back, she said, look here, I didn't spill any of it. He said, what did you see that time? He said, well, I didn't see anything. I was concentrating on not spilling the water. Do you get the moral of the story? If we concentrate on our salvation, we're not going to notice the things that are going on around us. Concentrate on our salvation. What did Jesus say in Matthew 9:9? Anybody know what he said? Who did he say follow? In 9:9 he told Matthew, he said, follow me. He did not say follow man. He didn't say follow Christians. He said follow me. You know, we got to concentrate on one person's salvation, and that's our own. I'm going to answer for the things that I do. You're going to answer for the things you do, not vice versa. We got to concentrate on what we do and follow Jesus. Don't follow man. Don't follow governments. Don't follow money. Follow Jesus and concentrate on our own salvation. And we won't see all these things that we think or hindrance to us when we concentrate on ourselves. If you're here tonight and you've got a need, tell our lives to you. Tell them. That is faith. That is faith. I have decided to follow Jesus. Thank you, sir. That is faith. So if you've got a need, please come while running that leads us.
674, first, second, fourth verse. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. The world behind me, the cross before me. The world behind me, the cross before me. The world behind me, the cross before me. No turning back, no turning back. Will you decide now to follow Jesus? Will you decide now to follow Jesus? Will you decide now to follow Jesus? No turning back, no turning back. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. If you're visiting with us, you're honored guest, and that's excuse me. Anyone have any other announcements? Brother Tommy, would you do
That's right. Father, never come this time. Thank you for this wonderful, beautiful day. Very lives another day. We're thankful for coming here, being able to come here and say thy word. We're thankful for Brother John as he brought us blessed tonight, classes, teachers, everyone, that we may have learned every portion of our word. We educate the sick, especially the ones here, pray, they may return to their normal health soon. That you continue with the elders as they lead this congregation, that may put the problem of way to be pleasing with them. We educate all the churches in the country that may stand strong and be able to be an influence to others with souls today. Bless the Father, we thank you for sending us on the cross someday we may have home care. We ask you to be with each one of us now as we fall short. That this time person. We ask you now to be with us as we go to our homes. Be with us this week. This week out, be with us. In His name we pray.